everyone, welcome back to Studio 33 Art by Kay. Today I'm going to be doing a 10 centimetre by 10 centimetre ceramic tile, and I'm going to use lots of the little this little piggy pigments that I have mixed up, and I want to create a beautiful piece for my sister-in-law. Actually, I'm making some coasters for her, and she requested blues and greens with a little bit of gold. So I want to do a type of a bloom, but it's not a true bloom, where you've got the pillow underneath, and then when you spin it out, it makes the cells large and spreads out, and it makes the cells larger, etc. That's not what I'm going for today. I want it to actually look a little bit more like a flower. So what I'm planning on doing is putting the green colours and a bit of navy blue on the corners, so those colours will stay in there, and then the other blues and the gold I'm going to do in the middle. You'll see as I go along, but the idea is that by putting the greens into the corners, into two of the corners, and the green and the navy blue in the others, those colours should stay there a little bit when I spin it out. Now I'm only putting a very shallow base on this today. I am using the British paints, house paint, and the reason I'm only putting a very shallow base is, as I say, I want to maintain my shape so that when I spin it out a little bit, it's not going to take my whole flower pattern off the tile. Okay. So without further ado, the colours I'm going to use in my corners, I'm using the sea glass and sapphire. And then the two greens in my little green corner are going to be the prayanite and the Echeveria, or Echeveria, whichever way you want to say it. Then my blues in the middle are going to be Mermaid, Taffy, Lakeside in the middle there, and what other colour? There's another colour there. Can't see the, oh, Waterfall, beautiful colour, lovely new colour. And also the gold I'm using is ore. And I'm going to use the Amsterdam bronze with Australian Floetrol as the cell activator, and also Amsterdam Lamp Black with Australian Floetrol as a cell activator. Okay, so my base is going to be the British paints, as I say, and I'm only going to, this has got 10 mils in it, this little cup, just to show you how much I'm going to use on here. So I'm not using too much at all, because I just want it to cover the base without leaving too much paint on there. I'll just use what's left up in there just to cover my edges. So hopefully that's going to be just enough. May have needed 15 mils, I think, rather than 10. Let's see how we go. Yep, I think I'll need another 5 mil in there. Just trying to show you how much to put in there. So that's another 10 mil, so all up that'll be 20 mils of paint going on. And I'm just going to spread that from one side to the other, just so that it will be completely covered my tile. Some of that will run off now in an attempt to get to the edges. And just running it down there. The reason I like to do the tilting is because it keeps it nice and flat. Okay, so we're pretty much all the way to the edges now. So just, there's a little bit of the paint left in there, so I'm going to use that just to make sure all my edges are covered properly. If I didn't quite get there. And I always love to completely cover my sides so that when the paint runs over from the pattern, you haven't got any bare spots, and also it gives the paint something to hold on to. So you get a better design on your edges, because I like when I'm doing the coasters, I do like my edges to look nice too. Okay. So that's that. Now I'll just give it a little spin. Just to spread the paint evenly. And there's not too much coming off there at all, so that would be about the right depth that I've got there. So what was that, 20 mils in the end of paint onto a 10 by 10 centimetre ceramic tile. Now I don't tape off my ceramic tiles at this stage, I just leave the edges, because then when the paint runs underneath, it gives you a nice edge for when you put your cork on later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my corners first. I'm going to have the greens into the corners. I'll just alternate how I lay down the green. So just a little blob. And then I'll put the other green on top, which is the sea glass. So that was Echeveria, and now the sea glass. Sorry, Mermaid. Mermaid and Echeveria. So I'm just doing them the opposite way around, so that the colour you put on top will always be the hero and take over more, so that way I get both colours represented. Now into the other corner I've got the sea glass. Now I'm putting that down first, because I've been finding that the sapphire, when it mixes or goes over the top of the white house paint, that it's kind of breaking up a bit. So I'm making sure I put the sapphire on top of the other colour. It doesn't seem to break up much when you do that. Oops. Don't worry about any drizzles that you get on there. You won't even notice that once you've blown your main colours out. Then next, I'm going to lay down a little bit of the Amsterdam bronze as a cell activator. So I'm just going to put it to the edge, because I'm just going to blow these out almost like they're a little leaf on the corner. Not that you'd have a blue leaf, but that's just the effect I want into the corners. And hopefully some of this will stay on when I do the main blowout. So I'm just going to use a straw to blow these out, and I'm going to blow into the centre and then two little side pieces. See, there's a few bubbles there, so we're just going to burst those with my torch. Okay, I'm just going to blow out. As you can see, that beautiful bronze makes a lovely little cell activator. I haven't blown that one out very well, have I? That's better. Okay, so it just gives me my little corner pieces. I'm just going to let those sit while I now do my centre piece. So this one is the Mermaid, which is absolutely gorgeous. Just putting her in the middle there. want too much paint, but you want enough. And then the next one is, what's the next one? Waterfall. How beautiful is that? They're all gorgeous. So again, just applying a little bit in the middle there. And then the next one is Mermaid. So the first one must have been Lakeside, actually. Yeah, the first one was Lakeside, and then Waterfall, and now Mermaid. I've just got the paints made up in these little containers from the yogurt that I have every day, and so it's a great way of, you know, not wasting. You don't have to buy any containers. You can just make up in these when you're not going to keep it for a long time. But otherwise, I just cover it with a bit of cling wrap. So now I'm going to put Taffy. Then I'm going to add a little of ore, which is beautiful gold. But with the ore, I'm going to put it into the center, but I'm also just going to drizzle a bit around. So I want that to sort of show up in a few places. And now I'm going to put a little bit more of the Taffy on top, because I really want that Taffy to show up. And the colour you put last will be the colour that shows up the most, usually. Just burst those bubbles. Okay, so now I'm going to add my black cell activator right in the middle of all that. Just going to do a couple of little bits. I don't want too much on there. Now I'm going to use my little mini blower to blow it out. I prefer using this than to blow out by mouth, because I can sort of see what I'm doing. This has the attachment that was from Tracy Reed Designs. She makes those attachments, and it's great. I love it. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go into the centers first and then into the corners, and try not to blow all the way over in the corners so that I do keep those colors a little bit. Okay, got a fair bit of black in the middle here. I'm just going to let that come up. I'll actually use my straw to blow onto that to try and break it up a little bit. See how that's broken that up, and it's bringing up those cells. So as you can see, you can still see some of those corner colours, which is what I wanted to keep, because my sister-in-law wanted to have the blues and the greens. So this way I was able to sort of keep those colours showing. If I'd put the greens just in my puddle, they may well have been overtaken totally by the Taffy and the other colours. So as you can see, they're still there. Okay, so let that sit for a minute. I'll just burst any bubbles. It also helps to create some cells. It looks like it's come up pretty well. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a small spin. Rightio, I don't want to spin it too much because I do want to maintain those colours, as I say. And so now I'm just going to take a very thin, this is a meat skewer. And I'm going to take the flat end of it and I'm going to draw some lines in to show the petals. So the reason why I spun it out first was because I didn't want my wrecking lines with the skewer to be skew-whiffed too much. I'm a bit of a perfectionist like that. I like my lines to sort of keep their shape as much as possible, which is totally different, of course, to when you're doing a normal bloom where you've got the thick pillow and the whole point is for the shape to spin out and spread out, which is different to what I'm trying to do here today. Okay, so I'm just going to take it from the edge there and bring it into the center. So I've got 8 petals. So that's 1. Excuse that sound of that wind in the background. We've got wind warning here today and I'm out in the garage and makes it a bit difficult. It's beautiful. And you can see where I drizzled that gold. It sort of helped to take it around all those different places. If I just put it in the center, it might have just stuck to the center. Okay, so I think I've done all of those. Now I'm going to take the very pointy end and I'm going to do a little drizzle, not a drizzle, a little circle in the center. There we go. Okay, well that's pretty beautiful. Loving that. I can see obviously the taffy is the hero. But we can see that the greens, we can see the navy blue, you can see the gold, I can see the bronze. So all my colours are there and the other coloured blues are sort of in amongst here as well. You can just see those popping through. So now my edges. Now they're not great all the way around, pretty much though, it's just a few little bald spots. So I'm just going to take my meat skewer and in the paint that's run off, just going to pick it up and finish off my little corners there. It's a bit of a bald spot on the side here, which actually needs a bit of white paint, I think. Paint hasn't sort of run off. What I can do is, to get the paint to run off there, is just to get my little straw. And I'm just going to blow that little bit off. There we go. On the corner here, I just need a bit of the navy, so I'll just pick that up from the table. Put that on the corner, or you can also pick it up from underneath where it's stripped off. It probably will run off a little bit anyway when it's sitting on the drying table, but you want to make sure your edges are covered properly. Sometimes I just take a bit from the pot and stick it on there. Like this one here, I want to get a bit of navy, so I'm just going to take it from the pot, get a bit on here, and just fill in that little gap there. Now always make sure you scrape your edges, because otherwise that paint that's dripping off will continue to pull your paint off. Okay. Just give it one little spin. That's all. That just slightly enlarged my centerpiece. Okay, one last little hit with the heat torch. And there you have it, an absolutely beautiful piece with all the colours represented that I wanted to. And hopefully My sister-in-law will love it too. Okay guys, I'll see you down for a close-up in a sec. Well, here we are, coming down for the close-up of this lovely piece. And you can see that Taffy really is the hero in the middle there. And you can see here all these beautiful cells. That's where the copper was on the edge there. And you can see that we've maintained some of that copper on the edge, some of the green, which I really wanted to do. And some of the navy in the corner there. Tiny bit of green there. So just those little representations of those other colours other than the blue. And yeah, so everything seems to be represented there, which is great. It's a very pretty little piece. Okay guys, well hopefully I'll see you back here in Studio 33 in the not too distant future. Until then, stay safe. Bye bye.